Listening for We Are 860 AM and 106.5 FM WNOV, The Voice. The views and opinions expressed on this show do not reflect that of the staff and management of WNOV and W293 CX 106.5 FM Courier Communications, Milwaukee, but are the sole comments of the host and guest of this particular show.
We're in a state of emergency, a mess of confusion. The danger is great, it's plain to see. Desperate times call for desperate solutions. Fear of love is fear of pain, baby. It's just an illusion. We've been wrong, we've been right, we've been up day and night like soldiers in a revolution. We're like soldiers in a revolution. There's a war going on in here. Gotta find us a better solution. Just let it all be. Say something real. Say something real. Hey, girl. Say something real. Won't you say something real, girl? Say something real. Do-do, do-do, baby. Say something real. Say something real.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. Yeah. I'm sorry. Shouldn't have started. Look, he ran out of here. Shouldn't have started the show that way, but we got an internal management dispute going on up in this camp. I'll bring y'all in. People, I'm just saying. I couldn't think of no other song about my civil rights being violated up in here. Good morning. What's happening, family? Welcome to the show. It is Michelle Bryant here at WNOV, land of the not free. But I'm about to be brave up in here because I'm demanding my rights. I'm going to bring y'all up to speed. I promise I'm going to bring y'all up to speed. But welcome to the show, y'all. Before Jermaine give his bootleg weather report, let me preface it by saying it's hot as fire outside. I mean, you don't appreciate how cool and refreshing your house is till you walk outside. I walked outside, I just cracked the door and put one little foot out the door and went, Jesus! It's like I could not breathe when I went outside. Y'all, today, even though it might not be 99, the feel like, the impact, this weather is stifling. They are asking you, if you don't have to move around, say your Walmart trip, say if you don't have to go out, just take it easy today, because this weather is not to be played with. Folks pass away in this kind of weather. So I'll just say that. Let me say good morning to the brothers in the studio, even though, they feeling like brothers because ain't nobody standing up for my rights. So let me just say good morning to the people in the studio. I'm snatching back cars. What's happening, Clark Kent?
Who you
not you. Clearly not you. And I know how to say you. I meant to say you. You all right this morning?
Yeah, I'm all right.
I really don't care.
I ain't have nothing to do with it.
Hey, I hear nobody defending my rights though. I heard you too bad, so sad for her. That's what I heard.
I ain't say that.
That's what it felt like, bro. That's what it felt like. Intent versus impact. You intended to say nothing, and the impact hit me pretty hard.
I ain't got nothing to say.
Yeah, look, everybody like, what happened? People on social media, on YouTube and Facebook, what happened? I'm gonna tell y'all. But you good, Clark?
Yeah, I'm good.
Again,
I'm definitely
I
good.
do not care. Other one, how are you? I'm talking to you. Other, how are you?
Did you just say other one?
I did.
Wowzers.
Since we not in this together,
Jesus.
let me,
Let's just stay together.
No.
No.
Well,
Shell, I'm doing pretty good. Meteorologist Mano Candela.
somebody I tell Vince Candela. You be in here bootlegging
Vince
yourself.
brothers. Shell, it's hot as fish grease outside. So the weather report is the following. Stay in the house.
Somebody needs to be a real weatherman to do that. It's hot as fish grease outside. I bet you somewhere in Alabama. It's a meteorologist saying that. It's a weather person saying that. It's hot as fish grease outside.
Sugar honey iced tea.
Sugar honey iced tea.
Don't go outside. It's hot as hell outside.
Somebody is saying that somewhere. I'm gonna look around and see if I can find a weather person bold enough to say
So
it's hot as hell outside.
the weather report is the following.
Oh, that wasn't it?
No, that was just the prefix to the big shebang. This is the big shebang.
The shebang. Okay, well, let's
This
go.
is right here.
All right, we ready.
Satan himself outside with a pocket full of brimstone. Stay your ass in the house.
Satan himself. Pass it out
to you, Bob.
Pass it out. Back
Brimstone.
to you. Back to you, Bob.
Now back to our scheduled program.
Satan himself. Somebody said, "What is brimstone?"
You don't want to find out. Oh, it's hot as fire.
I promise you, y'all think I'm playing. I'm going to spend valuable time today looking for someone.
Somebody said, "How that's jail."
How is jail?
No, it's hotter than jail, brother. I've been there. Let me tell you.
I was going to be like, well, I wouldn't know.
I've been there. Let me
Except for
tell
them 24 hours, I wouldn't know.
Oh, it's way hotter than jail, brother.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Somebody said make sure you check on the elderly.
Yes.
Make sure they get plenty of water. Some fans going in their home. Make sure that the elderly are good and that you're not dehydrated. Good advice.
Yes.
All right. So
I thought my advice was
your advice was not good. No one knew what brimstone was.
Mano Hood Mandela.
I'm telling you, I'm calling Vince Candela and be like, dude, I'm not saying you should sue him, but you should holler at him.
I actually
about using your
saw
name.
him performing at Summerfest.
Vince Candela?
Yes, he was on a small stage.
Performing what?
He was playing guitar.
He's a musician?
Yes.
Yeah.
I had no clue. So as soon as I heard his name, I'm like, wait a minute, that's my favorite meteorologist.
And how was he? Was he good?
He was pretty good.
He was pretty good?
Vince Candela.
Okay, to be Vince Candela. Somebody said, hope Michelle has a lawyer hat on today because I need to understand what all these Supreme Court decisions will mean. Yep, we will be talking about them. So let me do this real quick. Let me just give a quick update. As soon as I walked in the building, Clark asked about the young sister and her 5-year-old son that I mentioned on the air yesterday. First of all, let me just say this. Man, it's rough out here.
Man.
If you need some help today, immediately, and you catch these folks at the wrong time when all of these places are full, you are, Jermaine just said it, you are in trouble. If you don't have some place where somebody can immediately post you up until the red tape gets figured out and the access is figured out, you are in trouble. I mean, I sat with this young sister yesterday as we called 211 again, and 211 is like, check back in a couple of weeks. I mean, like, I literally was blown away that, you know, and there was almost I won't say the person was not empathetic.
Man, they not empathetic.
But, you know, I guess you got to distance yourself from it because you hear so many crazy stories every day, all day working for 211. And, you know, but it was just, it felt kind of matter of fact, like, hey, there's nothing I can refer you to right now. Check back in a week or so. In a week or so. I'm like, you out on the streets with a 5-year-old child, even if you by yourself as a young woman, 20, you know, some years old, check back in a week or so. I'm not related to nobody in this town, man. So that was crazy. We called every agency. We were able to hear from some folks from the county. So she's going to have a conversation with them today. But for now, I had to extend her hotel stay. Got a better rate for, you know, extending it through Friday morning, but I had to extend it because she got to go to work. Baby got to go daycare. So stuff still got to happen. And I want to just thank, like one listener to the show. She was sending me room and house information. So I appreciated that, but these situations is crazy. Like, you got to share your bathroom and the kitchen. I'm like, okay, but you can get a bedroom, basically situation. So started following up on some of that yesterday in case nothing else comes through. But when I say it's crazy out here, but the other thing I will say, the number of people who reached out yesterday to say, hey, how can I help? Or I just looked up and got a notification, Michelle, I cashed up you some money for this young family. Can I Zelle you some money? I haven't even gotten back to everybody yet because yesterday was just so long and crazy. But someone left clothes for the baby yesterday. I got here this morning. Jay was like, hey, it's a bag up there. It's some clothes. And I'm going to tell you, because yesterday he got ready. I picked him up to take him to daycare. And he had on mismatched socks, and they weren't clean. And it just broke my heart because I know how I sent my son. Man, I still buy clothes for my son. I know how you do. And so I just want to say to the community, this community never, ever, ever, ever ceases to amaze me. Shelby, good morning. I had a sister from Ohio cash out me some money for this baby who was listening yesterday from Ohio.
Wow.
So, and when I say their whole life is contained in 4 garbage bags and a bin and a basket, that's their whole life. That's their whole life. The sad thing is this young lady's story is not unique. There are tons of people, who have this going on. Where her story becomes a little bit different is because she gets put in Jermaine's pathway, who sets all of this in motion. So, what all people say, there but for the grace of God. Sometimes it's the luck of the draw. What I say all the time about who your parents are makes all the difference in the world. It's kids out here who take for granted the situation they got. because it's the way it's supposed to be. And there's other kids that can tap them on their shoulder and be like, hey, player, it don't go like that for everybody.
Right.
Yeah, you know, I wish I did have a mama barking at me about bedtime and stay off the, you know, put that cell phone up. And like, it doesn't go like that for everybody. So I will keep you all updated. But as of yesterday, no help yet. No place for her to go yet as of yesterday. So that would have been Saturday, Sunday, Monday. You on the streets with a child trying to figure out what to do.
And it's hot.
And yeah, and like now you got the heat situation. We got a couple callers on the phone line, so let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning, Michelle. Good morning, WNOV.
Hey, good morning.
The question, I didn't listen to the show yesterday about the lady, but would this have to tie in with Donald Trump not signing that housing bill, meaning that you got all these private equity firms buying up the property? That's why rent is so high, and that's why a lot of us can't find affordable housing, or is it something totally different?
Well,
And then,
yeah, go ahead. I didn't realize you had another one. Go ahead.
and then the mayor of New York, Mandami, you know, is it true he put a 2-year freeze for paying rent for his citizens so that people can get ahead? And does that apply to this situation as well?
All right. I will answer both of those, and thank you for the questions.
Thank you, Michelle.
Yeah. So what Trump and them are doing, you know, it's going to take a minute for any of that to reach. And let me be clear. Trump didn't want to sign it. He just was being a jerk. You know, if I don't get to trample on people's voting rights, then I'm not signing a housing bill. Remember, they had to cancel the big press conference and the big shindig, this bipartisan piece of legislation that, you know, they were going to say, hey, we're going to stop corporate purchases of residential property. Because you got all these corporations now becoming these huge landlords. And so that was one thing. Also to cut red tape to make it easier for people to build. We won't see the ramifications for that stuff for a while. We won't, you know, and I had to kind of smile. It's a good thing to be able to stop corporations from being able to be landlords and buying up these properties, you know, and pricing people out of markets and making the rent so high that it's disgusting that people have to live in their car because they can't afford to live in a 1-bedroom apartment. But it's not immediate help. It doesn't deal with affordability today. This is down the road help. We need it, but don't start cheering like we just helped people today. You help people down the road. It's not. For the girl that's walking the street right now, or the young brother that's walking the street right now that's homeless today, it did nothing for them today. And in a lot of cases, it still has done nothing because they're not trying to buy a house. They, you know, so that's one thing that's frustrating. Now I messed around, I forgot the second question. Okay, to come back to it.
She was talking about New York.
Oh, Mandani.
Yeah.
You know, the rent freezes. New York has the unique ability to do rent freezes because of the way their infrastructure is set up. We don't have that ability to do rent freezes. The closest thing we came is, you know, what happened during COVID when we prevented landlords from evicting people who could not pay their bills, given everything that was happening in the country. So it really is a city by city, state by state kind of situation in terms of the ability to do something like that. Rent control districts, rent control units, all of that stuff is very, very unique to New York. And again, we know that the book Evicted, in part based on Milwaukee, and they talk about right now, or I'm sorry, back then, I think that book is like 5 years old now, that a size 8 for the person that just sent me the text message. But people were $300 to $400 away from just being able to say rent is covered, utilities is covered. Didn't necessarily speak to food and gas, but and thank you, that was the word I was looking for. Keisha was like the rent control board, Michelle. I was looking for it, couldn't think of it at the time. But you know, so it is all on a case by case basis. in terms of how some of this stuff is done. And in New York, like to ride the bus. Let me just make sure I'm correct, because my son lived in New York while he was going to college in New York for a minute. And hang on, what is it? New York. I just want to show y'all New York bus fare. Okay, so it's what, $3 per ride on a local limited service. If you take an express bus, it's $7.25 per ride. And I know when he was commuting, like that daily commute, because of all the different stuff he had to do, I think his daily commute was like $15 a day on the bus or on the bus and subway. Excuse me. So that was years ago. So, you got to put certain things in place to be able to protect folks. And there are some people that's where their focus is. Let me get this caller, and then I'm going to go to break because it's a lot to try to work in this morning. So, hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, Michelle, did you try over here at St. Catherine's? Because she was rent a room, but share a bathroom.
You know what? Nope, I did not get to St. Catherine's yesterday. So I will get them. Like I said yesterday, it was because man, I hate to say how many things I'm juggling right now, but yeah, yesterday was crazy. After we got done doing as much as we could before places closed yesterday, I was tracking down some other housing options, trying to figure out what she could afford and how things could work. But I got St. Catherine's on the list to check.
Yeah, because the highest for a room over here is like 5 something, but it's a start. So she would have to do rent and security, but we all could pitch in and help out with that too. And then I don't know how daycare would be, but at least she has a job, so I'm still playing. But anyway, I got some work, medical things to do today.
Okay. Well, keep me posted. Let me know how you doing.
Yeah, I showed you yesterday on one of my messages. I'm kind of worried about that. All right.
I will definitely check and follow up. My phone been lit up, but I will check it out. Okay.
Yeah, please check out over here because that's an option for her for now.
Okay.
It's a little cheaper too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
No
All
problem.
Right.
Yep. No. So that's where we are. But let me take a quick break, and then when we come back, I want to get into a number of these issues that people are talking about today. I just want to say, did y'all know Gwen Moore had an opponent in the upcoming election? Like on the Democratic side, Congresswoman Moore. She got an opponent this time. I don't know how for real, but I'm going to talk about that because I completely missed it. Somebody flagged it for me yesterday. I went to go check the ballot to see what was on the ballot because I've been telling people go to myvote.wi.gov to see what was on this ballot. And I didn't even really look at the Democratic side because I felt like I knew it all. I hadn't heard any other names. And then somebody said, why you didn't tell me Gwen had an opponent? I was like, who? Gotta talk about that. Gotta talk about Midtown and what's happening. There was a meeting yesterday. When I tell you folks in the community, what Jermaine say, brimstone? Oh yeah, it's some brimstone. Like recall brimstone. So let me take a break, y'all. I'll be right back. Michelle Bryant, WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM.
Your host, Michelle Bryant on WNOV.
All right, family, welcome back to the show. Let me just take a second to acknowledge that we got some Milwaukee folks all over the world right now. I just got a text message saying, hey, I'm listening from Italy. I'm on TuneIn, checking y'all out from Italy. I know we have folks listening from Bali, and I got two people. They were in, oh my God, where did they tell me? I can't think of it. It'll come back to me. Because they were in dang, was it? Oh, I can't remember. I think they might have said they was in Nigeria. I forgot which country they were in, but yeah. So Milwaukee is all over the world, and yeah, yeah. And I was just telling somebody, I said, man, technology is crazy. Like you are in Italy and answering it in real time. What's up? I'm listening. So y'all be safe while y'all traveling. Know that folks at home, love y'all paying attention to the crazy weather out there. Just be safe, fam. All right, let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening? Hello?
Good morning, Michelle.
What's going on, Doc? How you doing this morning?
I'm doing just fine. Okay, I know you have a lot to get to, so I'm going to get my 3 things out of the way.
You acting like Tyrone W. Go ahead.
I'm going to be laughing at Tyrone, because Tyrone, likes to go around the world. So good morning, everybody. Good morning.
You sound low, man. You got us on speaker?
No.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
Is that better?
Yeah, Jermaine messing with the board.
You know what? See, I'm just messing.
Sorry, Jermaine. Not a real brother. About to give up his black card. But go ahead. What you got, Keisha?
So I wanted to let the community know about 3 things that were coming up.
Wait, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tyrone W. What you say now?
Well, now, Michelle, I just want to let you know.
No.
I wanted to let you know and let the listeners know that I'm a little late because, things are happening.
Keisha, it's hard to hear you, fam.
Okay, I'm on the regular phone. Can you hear me better now?
It sounds janky. Go ahead.
Is it better
You
now?
talking on your car phone or the real phone?
No, I'm on the phone.
Do you got 2 cans and a string going on? What's going on with you?
I have the phone up to my ear. So
Maybe it's a short people thing.
Yeah,
Something's wrong, man. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
The HBCU college tour information is available for 2027.
The HBCU college fair tour information is available for 2027.
Yes. So the date of the HBCU college tour will be March 28th through April 2nd, 2027. This year we will be starting in Nashville, Tennessee, and we will be going through Alabama. We're going to be going from Milwaukee to your hometown of Birmingham. Let me say that.
Say that right now. Say that right.
Alabama.
Yes.
Yes. We'll be going through the states of Alabama, and Georgia, and then we will be going into the city of Atlanta, so people can see all the things in Atlanta. But we will be ending in Orlando, Florida, in the happiest place on earth at Walt Disney World. So
this the come up. The kids get to go to Disney.
They get to go to
Look, Clark told me he want to go.
You can go too, Clark.
You can go too, Clark.
We are visiting Florida A&M University, Edward Waters College, and Bethune-Cookman College in Florida. We are going through South Georgia and going into Florida, but ending our trip at Walt Disney World before we come back home to Milwaukee. If you would like your child to visit Morehouse, Selden, Clark Atlanta, all of those places, Albany State University, Fort Valley State University, Miles College, which is in Michelle's backyard.
That's right, baby.
And of course, the other ASU, because I know Derek Miles is listening.
Alabama State, don't play.
We will be visiting those schools. Tuskegee, under the shed. So we go to Tuskegee. So we will be going to all of those places on the college tour in 2027. I am telling people now. I know that there will be people at the last minute saying, can my child still go? You can go. You should sign up as soon as you can. If you need more information to get the link to sign up, call me or send me a text message at 504-814-0664. 504-814-0664. 0664. And so we will get you the information for the link. Yes, we have payment plans available. I will tell you right now, the trip costs $1,200. You don't have to pay it all at once. We also do fundraising. So I wanted folks to know that. You know it before school starts now if your child wants to go on the college tour.
Someone said, how old do the kids have to be to go on the trip?
I will take them as early as 8th grade. So 8th through 12th graders.
8th through 12th grade.
And for adults, if you want to go on a sightseeing venture, you can come too.
Yeah, because we've had grandparents join us on the trip.
We've had grandparents, aunts, uncles come on. Yeah,
they've joined us. Or they meet us up in cities where their kids, when they know we coming through, like, oh, y'all gonna be in Alabama? I'm meeting y'all on the tour. Go to dinner with us, hang out, everything. So yeah, we have adults join us.
Absolutely.
So what else you got?
Item number 2. I need everybody to listen up.
Hang on one second. Somebody said $1,200. That's lodging and air included. Shucks, I can send my 20-year-old. Yes, that includes everything. That's lodging, meals,
that's everything.
airfare. That's everything. Yes. Okay, go ahead, Keisha.
And she talked about the 20-year-olds. If your child didn't go to college right away, there's a place for them at an HBCU. So yes.
Look, you heard it. You heard it. So look, somebody just saw my T-shirt and said, "Does your T-shirt say Monday through Friday?" The person who made the show was doing wishful thinking. But we're gonna get to that Friday as soon as Keisha done. Okay, finish up, Keisha.
There you go.
Y'all keep interrupting me. But number 2.
Oh, I'm sorry, Tyrone. I didn't mean to rush you. Go take your time.
So, number 2, August 26th. You know I work with NAACP AXO program for our young people. We are having our 2nd annual wine tasting fundraiser for the NAACP AXO program. So I'm inviting everyone to come out to get a ticket to the AXO wine tasting. It was an excellent event. We asked the folks to come out to support the children this year as well. This year it will be at the Brown Deer Country Club Clubhouse at the Open Antler Hall on August 26th. So please get your tickets. You can get those on Eventbrite. All you have to do is type in NAACP AXO, ACT-SO, and you can get your wine tasting tickets for that particular event. And last but not least.
Okay, go ahead.
Last but not least, I talked about it on your show during the live remote on Juneteenth. Yes, we are still looking for Alice in Dairyland candidates. That program will open in January. So just wanted to remind people that we are having the Alice in Dairyland finals in Milwaukee County, in the city of Milwaukee, in May of next year. But we are looking for young ladies who think they like marketing and communication and would like to be the ambassador for agriculture for our state. So make sure you follow Alice in Dairyland on social media. That would be Facebook and Instagram, and also the Alice in Dairyland YouTube page. So you can get more information about the Alice in Dairyland program. This is a paid opportunity. Yes, it is a real job that Alice gets to do. So you just have to be 21 years or older, a female that's 21 years of age or older, and to apply for the Alice in Dairyland program.
All right. You said a mouthful. I'll make sure I reiterate some of this for folks. If you can get me some flyers so I can have stuff in front of me, because I know folks will reach out. And thank you. Always working. Can't tell you ain't in office no more. Always working. We appreciate you. And let me just say this. I thought it was so cool that I think this was the first time in the history of the Alice in Dairyland program, which has been around since 1948, that they actually had the young lady walk in the ride in the Juneteenth Day parade.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
And you helped to make that happen.
Yes.
And I heard string cheese was everywhere.
I'm telling you, I mean, we were raining in cheese. So everybody on the parade route got string cheese. Kids got, cheese, little stuffies. It was wonderful.
Well, I just think it's just so cool having people that see the totality. When you were a former state rep, you had Vincent High School in the district supporting the agricultural work that they do. We know Senator Taylor, you know, somebody puts her on the ag committee trying to be funny, and she turned it into a whole thing, you know.
And it's now her life.
Yeah, I mean, the work is real. We get apprenticeship programs off of somebody trying to be funny and mess over her, and she turns it into, you know, like this whole different arena and expectation for Milwaukee in terms of urban agriculture and employment opportunities. I mean, just covering the range. So thank you so much for that, because I absolutely thought that was cool, that our young people got exposed to something that they typically wouldn't see. They have not had a Alice of color. And so this is an opportunity that young sisters may not have ever even been introduced to, that they could participate. You get the use of a vehicle to help you drive around the state, and you are promoting the state of Wisconsin in relationship to agriculture. So thank you so much, LaKeisha. I appreciate the work that you continue to do.
Absolutely. Thank you, Michelle, for the platform.
All right. Thank you. And for someone who reached out and said, could you repeat her number? They were driving. That number is 504-814-0664. Clark, tell me, get it right. Get it right. And Judge Taylor is listening. She said it is also the first time a Black person has organized the event too. LaKeisha is actually the chair of the committee for Alice in Wonderland. So just think about what just got said from one person. She is the chair of the AXO program for the Milwaukee chapter of the NAACP. She heads up the HBCU college tour. I don't do nothing but show up and tell the kids stop playing before I send you home. That's all I do. That's all I do. And you know, then okay, we need to pay for something, or I'm treating today. But that's it. I pay to help support the program, and I show up. I didn't know half the places she named that we was going. I just knew she said Disneyland, because I was like, hey, we need to go somewhere to kick it. And Disneyland, I'm in. And then the Alice in Dairyland thing. That's one person doing all of that. And you're not an elected official. You're just doing it because you want to give back to the community. And there's tons of people like that in our community. Don't get me wrong. But I just got tall respect. I'm sorry. I run with bosses. I love it. And I look good because I don't have to do nothing.
What you doing something?
My name just be attached to everything. So I'm living off Lena and LaKeisha. I love it. So all right, let's go. Let's go. We got a number of things to get to today. First and foremost, dang, I gotta take a break. I don't really I'm not messing with you.
Well, you know, Shell.
Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. Because I just found out people in this building going to be off on Friday to celebrate the 4th of July because it fall on the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Well, where my day off at? Where my freedom? Where's my freedom?
Well, your freedom is on Friday.
No, because I would have been off on Friday anyway. I should be able to be off on Thursday.
Join the caravan of love.
No, this don't feel like look. Now look who gonna come stepping up in here, pulling up his pants and carrying, you know. What?
If you off Thursday, these people gonna tear us up.
Ain't got nothing to do with me.
Clark.
Ain't got nothing to do with me.
They're gonna cuss out. They're gonna say everything.
All I know is I'm trying to figure out how everybody else get off on Friday. I'm not getting no day off. Where's my paid holiday? I am entitled to a paid holiday.
You might get eggs thrown at the building and everything because you took off Thursday.
Look, folks in Italy waiting for me to get on with the show. Let me take a break. I'll complain to management during the break. We'll be right back.
With your host, Michelle Bryant on WNOV.
All right, family, welcome back to the show. So let's see how much of this we can roll through today. Real quickly, some folks have raised questions on YouTube, Facebook, talked about, can you donate for a child who may not be able to afford the trip? We haven't done that. in general, but yep, I can talk to LaKeisha and we can set up something so that if there are a couple of children who cannot do the tour, because me and Keisha end up backfilling wherever there's a need to do that, just truth be told. But we can talk about that. What was that second question, Clark, you showed me? Clark will find a question for me. Okay. So I got the fundraisers, but it was another one, Clark. Oh, and what about the Obama tour? So just so you know, that's so funny you said it. Me and LaKeisha already are working on a tour to go over to the Obama Museum and Center. For folks that are going online, we literally were doing this last night. So it's crazy that you asked. Because people are seeing that they can't get tickets now. You can't even sign up for tickets right now. They'll tell you get on the email list. They'll let you know when it's opened. Because I had got in on the ground and supporting the foundation, the museum and everything early. Keisha just said she can add a link for donations to be able to help some of these kids go on the trip. So I'll update you on that. She just texted me. But so I got a email from the foundation letting me know that they are going to open a window for people to be able to. Somebody said they've been booked through September. Now they out to November now. And so what I will do is, so what we're doing is we're going to, get the dates and stuff. And then we're going to do a bus and get people to be able to go over so that they can have an opportunity to tour the center. So we literally were working on it last night. And we got our dates now when we know to call them and be able to figure out, when we can get dates. Somebody said, if you're a veteran, you don't need to sign up to get to the museum, and they can take 2 or 3 people with them. And I know they did a special day for vets. So thanks, Courtney, for tapping in with that information. All right, y'all. So a number of things that I wanted to try to work in today. First and foremost, I mentioned Congresswoman Gwen Moore. I didn't know she had a opponent in the 4th Congressional District race, a woman by the name of Amy Donahue. And one of my guys who does the podcast Facts Over Feelings, he hit me up. He said, yeah, Michelle, I had her on my show. And but I'm telling y'all, I missed it. So seems like, and he said it too, a grassroots kind of campaign situation. She is someone I think who leans more as a Democratic Socialist. She's gotten the endorsement from them. And if you are paying attention to the whole Democratic Socialist movement and situation, we saw what's going on in New York with Mondani, and then the slate of folks that he supported, all 3 who win their seats that they were vying for, edge out traditional Democrats. People beginning to talk about, are we seeing something happening around the country in which this, part of the Democratic infrastructure is beginning to take hold. And so this woman, I was trying to figure out what I could about her background, like if she has held any other elected office, what she currently does. And so I'm going to, see what I can about her. But Amy Donahue. And then I tripped because I was on Ballotpedia and I saw that Arthur Burks is running as an independent. Arthur Burks has been on the show. I mean, he had a show here and a regular at the station. He is running against Congresswoman Moore as an independent in this election as well. If this is still correct, but it's on Ballotpedia that Arthur Burks, that's the guy who rolls his R's. I can never do it. Keon used to do it. But he's running against Congresswoman Moore too. Now, the reason why I bring it up, most people will concede that Amy Donahue is most likely not a threat to Congresswoman Moore losing her seat. But all of this is just a matter of time. Congresswoman Moore, I don't know how old she is, but let me just see real quick. Congresswoman Moore. I'm just looking for age real quick. And I'm doing it for a reason. Congresswoman Moore, she was born in 1951. How old is it? 51, 20, what's this, 26? 5. Congresswoman Moore is 75 years old. Now, normally, hey, you don't talk out of school, you don't tell women's ages. But she is getting to that point where people are going to start looking at that seat. And while, you know, people have been respectful and, you know, she's done a you know, good job, or, you know, folks are okay with her leadership, people have just, you know, stayed out the way. That's not going to continue to always be the case. And so this woman, Amy Donahue, running, provides an alternative for folks who've not really had a serious alternative against Congresswoman Moore. One of the things that we talk about and pay attention to, they said she's affiliated with the pro-Palestine organization here in Milwaukee. Thanks. Because I did see in her platform that she talked about Palestine. And many of the old head Democrats, Hakeem Jeffries is feeling it right now, are tightly aligned with Israel. When they ran Cori Bush out of Congress, remember Cori Bush out of Ferguson, Cori Bush, who slept on the steps of Congress to talk about the housing crisis and homelessness and what was going on with people. And the Jewish organization APAC, they ran a ignorant, divisive, racially and factually outrageous campaign to run Cori Bush out of Congress. And they were successful. And they've, you know, run similar campaigns to get rid of people. That was 4 years ago. Cori Bush is running for Congress again. And with the message to APAC, yeah, I'm coming. I'm coming directly for y'all. But the sentiment has changed this time. There are a lot of people who are no longer just going along to get along on the whole Israel conversation, because people had it set up that if you sneezed in Israel's direction, you were called anti-Semitic. And because of the kind of money that APAC puts into these campaigns, you know, you just didn't dare go against them if you were a legislator. But more and more people are upset with the way this whole thing with Hezbollah and Gaza has played out. And the fact that 30% of the people that got killed so far in that situation were children. No, Israel, you can't keep looking at people talking about, well, they have, you know, underground caves and we trying to get to the underground caves. So you kill all these kids to get down to the caves. People not trying to hear that. You done killed too many people. You have destroyed too much of their stuff. Hospitals, schools. I mean, these people still sleeping outside on tops of rocks and mountains. People that didn't start this. And so, you know, Israel is a part of America's, you know, annual budget. 3.2 billion, you know, line item. But by the time you get done with military procurement, it's like $21 billion. And folks are looking sideways now, like, excuse us, what are we doing here? Concerns that I've raised here in Wisconsin. How is it that the Jewish Holocaust is mandated education in our public school systems twice? Middle school and high school. But slavery, the actual Black Holocaust that was caused in America, it's not required teaching. You're not required to teach slavery to nobody, but I'm required to teach the Jewish Holocaust that did not happen in this country. Twice. On a curriculum that was not seen or approved by the legislature. All of them Black legislators too ran their butt, was happy to vote for a curriculum that they had not even seen. And then they said, oh, we'll teach other people's genocides too. Well, I'm sorry. Why do I need somebody from the Jewish Holocaust to teach Black history and slavery? Why I need you to do that? And then when they came this time for funding, and they said, well, did y'all teach any of it? Well, no, not yet. We ain't taught none of the Black stuff yet. We ain't taught nobody else's genocide yet. Not yet. So Congresswoman Moore has been heavily aligned with Israel, and there will be people that will start to come picking for folks. And one of the things that they will use is potentially those alignments. The other reason why I bring it up, because we always talk about succession planning. What's the plan? Who's being groomed to run for Congress? Because before Supreme became an elected official, some of the stuff was wide open. At one point, Lena would have seemed like the heir apparent to run for that seat. But then you got Senator Johnson. You got members of the assembly. But see, this the behind the scenes thing that don't nobody want to talk about out loud. Somebody got to get prepared to run for Congresswoman Moore's seat. She's 75. And we've seen people stay till they 82, but do you need to be there that long? Can somebody else get a turn? But these are not conversations that are being held in a way that when it's time for the succession, it's not going to be a problem. And one of the things, hopefully people are paying attention to, folks are not sending you just because you Black. Folks are looking for accomplishments. I'm not talking about paper accomplishments. I'm talking about real policy, legislation that's been passed, that's meaningful, not just this fluff and this nonsense, but real meaningful work. People looking for fighters. People looking for folks that got an independent streak. People looking for folks that, are learned in politics and not just up here playing politics. So when it gets flagged for me that this Amy Donahue is running, she's going to peel off a few votes because people have not had any other option on the Democratic side of the ticket other than Congresswoman Moore. They've not had. So this is who it is. But now it looks like she may be a member of the LGBTQ community. She is pro-Palestine, or at least she sees that there's value in both Israel and Palestine. So it's going to be interesting to see, not necessarily this election, but in 2 more years, what's going to be going on for Congresswoman Moore, because eventually somebody coming for that seat. We just got to figure out, particularly as a Black community, if we're going to mess around and lose that seat to somebody else. We got to figure it out, because you got to understand Congresswoman Moore's congressional district. So I needed to flag that. We need to pay attention to it, because I have not, somebody said she identified as non-binary. I have not ever had this conversation on the radio about what is the succession plan for Congresswoman Moore's seat. And some people will say, well, don't be rushing her. I ain't rushing her. I'm just talking about reality. And I'm talking about a shift in the air where, you just couldn't have made me believe Hakeem Jeffries was going to be on the outs with so many, folks in New York. And people love Hakeem Jeffries. But this blind allegiance to Israel, it's just not sitting well with people. So, I needed to mention that. Let me go to the phone line real quick. Hey, caller, what's happening? Hello? Yes.
Hi, Michelle. Good morning.
Hey, Angela, how you doing this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
I know you're a very busy lady, but I'm still waiting for you. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep, I know.
Okay, so can you reach out to me soon?
I definitely will.
Thank you.
You're
Have a
welcome.
blessed day, everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Bye.
Got another caller. Hey, caller, what's happening? Hello? Caller?
Yeah, I'm here.
It's hard to hear you, bruh.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Definitely, we got you.
Okay, listen. But when it comes down to things like Israel, I think some of that stuff we should just leave up to government and let them fight it out. When you talk about Gwen Moore, I've never been a Gwen Moore fan. Okay? Never. But I would never, ever want to see a Muslim get in office, because right now they're pushing an agenda. And if us American people don't wake up, especially the blacks, knowing how they done treated us in our neighborhoods, they've come in and they've pillaged and they've been vendors and they've never given anything back. Do you think if they get up there, they're going to write laws or anything like that?
So, wait. You said you don't want to see a Muslim get elected?
Nobody that's pushing that Muslim regime.
So,
nobody.
You do know we have Muslims in office right now, right?
Yeah, and guess what they're doing? Most of them is pushing a socialist idea. Okay? And I'm not with it. Even though I don't like Moore. Moore never supported nothing that y'all did. So Moore never really got behind Taylor. Let's be realistic. She always went with the other side, the Democrat machine. Even when she ran for mayor here, Moore was nowhere to be found, along with some others. Martha Love didn't really give no endorsement. I mean, and she really probably don't. They got little private bases that they deal with. It was nothing like the Polly Williams or the Netta Robinsons or the Mike McGee's that had real bases that could reach out. See, the people that we got now don't have real bases. They just run around with the movement, talking loud. They don't have a real base. They probably couldn't get 500 people to a dinner, unless it was free. But anyway, I don't like Moore. She never supported nothing that we did. Even the government deal up there, we had different opinions about it, and she went another way. She always goes another way than what the people. Okay, so I've never been with her, but before I see her go out and somebody with this Islam belief that is coming in, that's coming in, boy, and they're coming in hard and heavy. The Hispanics is quiet and sneaky. The Muslims is coming in loud and radical. And guess what? They couldn't do this in their country. They want to bring socialist ideas when their community is socialized.
When you talk about socialist ideas, are you going to get out today and drive somewhere?
Ma'am, I ain't talking about that kind of socialism.
Are you going to get out today and drive somewhere? Are you going to drive somewhere? Do you have a child that's gone to a public school? Do you not understand how many things that we do in this country that are rooted in socialism?
That's not the socialism I'm talking about.
Well, tell us which socialism you talking about.
I'm talking about control. I'm talking about that. I'm talking about them bottlenecks. I was in a meeting last week. Them bottlenecks in our communities, man. Them bump out. All of that's designed.
Help me understand the socialism that you are referring to.
Okay, I'm not talking about the park system.
I asked you to tell me what.
We're talking about some regulations.
Tell me what you're talking about. What socialism are you afraid of that some of these Muslims would bring to? Like Keith Ellison is a Muslim. Ilhan Omar is a Muslim. So tell me what Muslim.
I'm going to give you an idea.
Okay, go ahead. I'm listening.
That's for an idea.
Go ahead.
Let's do something real simple. How about our automobiles being all electrified? Okay. How about the government right now? You see, we got something going on right here in Milwaukee where we want to knock the energy out. Now that's good on its face to get rid of them. But if it's going to be and they say regulated by the people. Well, once it's regulated by the people, who comes in and regulate the people? The government. Before you know it, they tell you use too many wattages or whatever. Why do you think all of these electric meters across the country are no longer manual now? They can turn your stuff off from a switch at home. Because if you ever get into a situation where the government is in total control, They're going to stop you.
So,
you use too much for this much. They're doing it with water right now in California.
So I just want to make sure I'm clear. So you're worried about socialists getting control of the government. Just
Mondani right now. Mondani right now is talking about this grocery chain, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, once the government begins to feed the people, if they bite into it hard enough, hopefully they won't bite into it hard enough. But once the government starts telling you what you can and cannot do, then guess what, Michelle? You ain't gonna be able to ride your nice new car. You gonna ride whatever the government regulations say ride.
We got government regulations regardless, Meech. And let's just be clear.
That, and some of that's needed. We need police.
Exactly.
Okay, we got that part.
I'm just trying to figure out what it is you're scared of.
I'm scared of a controlled takeover, and Islamic people are pushing a narrative.
Which Islamic people?
They're pushing a religious narrative.
Minister Farrakhan is pushing a narrative, and William Muhammad here in Milwaukee. William Muhammad is pushing a narrative. Like, which Muslims are we talking about, Meech?
Let me cut. Hold on. We're not talking about the Nation of Islam that gave these people that are in our countries now a platform when they come in 78 and 79, when they were running from that some stuff. They came in here and flooded our countries. And guess what? They had no place to worship when they got to this country. And now I know because my people.
So which Muslims are you talking about?
I'm talking about the raghead Muslims, the Muslims from overseas. I'm talking about the Iranians, the POL.
Okay.
I'm talking about those people. Okay. I'm not talking about the nation. You know what they call the nation? They call the nation a hate group. And the nation gave their butts a place to worship when they got here in this country. They knew that this was supposed to be a Christian nation. They were quiet. You know who welcomed them in? The Nation of Islam. Let them come on. I went to the mosque and I said, hey, just for black people, man. They said, yeah, but they Muslims.
Okay, Mitch, I got you.
When I was a kid, guess what? I'm telling you.
I got you, Mitch.
They called the very people that gave them a chance, gave them a platform to worship. Now they call them a hate because they got their big synagogue and they done came along and merchandised our whole neighborhood, and we paid for that stuff. We bought the big thing they got over on 13th Street now, all across the country. So yes, I want them guys out of here.
Okay, Mitch, I got you. Thank you. I appreciate it, bro. I'm gonna just say this. There's an element of truth to some of the things that you say. Okay. I was even commenting myself this morning on, like, when we do the college tour, there are times when we stay at the Holiday Inns or whatever. I'm always surprised at who owns these hotels now. And I always think about, like, well, dang, how did y'all get to, like, own all the Dunkin' Donuts? Y'all own, I mean, like, every Dunkin' Donut I go to everywhere in the country. I'm like, dude, you know, like, it is the franchise now just like, I don't know the ethnicity of all these people, but, or even, you know, nationality of everybody. But you go to all the Dunkin' Donuts now and you see, like, this is who own all the Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, that is true.
Like, I'm going to a lot of the Holiday Inn properties and I'm seeing, particularly depending on where they are, this is who own the Subways. This is who own all the Subways. Like, and I don't know if it's just because of the neighborhoods I'm moving in, but it seems like it's global.
It's everywhere.
In terms of what's happening. So there is an element of truth to some of the things that you say. But I need people to understand, when we throw around socialism and act like it's a 100% dirty word, public education is socialism. Interstate highway systems, transit, all of that, utilities, that's socialism, because it's that idea that you're going to come together and do something for a collective goal. Social Security is a form of socialism. Medicaid, Medicare, a form of socialism. The U.S. Postal Service, a form of socialism. That this is an entity that's operated for the greater good of everybody. So we're not, if we're going to talk about it, we got to make sure people understand, you know, people throw out socialism like communism or, you know, whatever, but we okay with socialism in some regards. We okay with it for having a public education system. We okay with it for roads and transportation, certain systems. We just gotta. I was listening to a clip from Megyn Kelly, who was talking about the Haitian community, and I want them out of here. And they killing people on our roads. And go back to your own country. It just sounded so ignorant and so hateful. So ignorant and so hateful. Particularly when the folks in Springfield, Ohio, and communities where there's a heavy Haitian population have said, in general, these people are contributing twofold to our communities. So this level of hate, it's just racism. And on some level, I understand the financial implications of what some of these people are doing in our countries. But I also am looking for the balance to make sure it's not also couched in racism just because it's you. Because this is the one thing I say all the time. If you don't want these folks in your community, stop going to their stores. Stop going to JJ's. But y'all ain't gonna stop. Because y'all don't know how to fry chicken no more. Stop going to Sharks and getting your fish. But y'all ain't gonna stop. Because y'all don't know how to fry fish no more. Jermaine over here cracking up. I'm just saying, because it ain't no Hmong people at JJ's and Sharks. It ain't no Latino people for the most part at JJ's and Sharks because they got their own restaurants. That's where they eating at. It's you black people that every get together, y'all go get y'all pan of wings with some lemon pepper sprinkled on it, lemon pepper crack, because y'all ain't got lemon pepper at home. Y'all don't know where to find it at. Wow. And don't know black caterers clearly use lemon pepper crack. So I'm just saying. Remember we would go to get fish and you go to Red Snapper. It's Red Snapper here, Red Snapper. We went down here on Center Street Fish Market and got us fish over there. But if you mad about people doing the beauty supply store can't stay open if we stop going there. They can't stay open. To hire their big black security guard to look menacing when you walk through the door to protect the bundles of weave. They can't stay open if you don't go there. So this is a part of it. Am I mad at the people for the hustle, or am I mad at the silly people who support the hustle? Because we support it. Because don't nobody black know how to sell hair care products. And if they do, it's too high and we don't want to pay for it. Because we don't have the distribution networks that these people have to be able to more cost effectively get in all of this product. So our little black hair care stores can't stay open because they too high. So if you don't want to see folks in your community that you feel like don't value or respect you, and just pimping the community and taking all the money out, draining our community of resources, then stop supporting the businesses. That's how you get folks out. I don't need the government to legislate nothing. I can close down half of these stores by not going. But you're not going to go. And then the other businesses that you need to come in and replace them, they're not going to come. And the black folks who want to try to have the businesses, you're not going to support them. You see the vicious cycle? I got to go to break. But do you hear what I'm saying? And as they used to say back in the day, if I'm lying, I'm flying. I'm not flying. I'll be right back.
Real with your host, Michelle Bryant on WNOV.
All right, family, welcome back to the show. Before I go any further, let me just take a second. Most of you, if you have your cell phone near you, possibly even your television on, you just saw a public safety alert, a silver alert went out for a gentleman by the name of Cecil Hubbard. He is a black male, 5'10", 208 pounds, gray hair, has on a navy blue shirt. Not sure what color the pants and shoes are. He wears glasses, and this brother has been missing evidently since yesterday. And so he is a senior. So hence the term silver alert. So it hit all of our phones at the same time. If you are moving around, because this is not the day to be lost and wandering out here by yourself. If you are out and about and you in the area, again, he was last seen in the 3800 block of 26th Street. But it's no telling where this man could be now since he's been gone since yesterday. Just look around, pay attention. If you see anybody that looks something, similar to this man's description, if you feel comfortable, ask him, are you Mr. Hubbard or are you Cecil, or call 911 so that folks know, what's going on. I need to take another quick break real quick. I know it's people on hold. This is my early day, so I need to work my commercials in. So let me take a quick break and I'll be right back so I can deal with the Supreme Court situation. Be right back, y'all.
With your host, Michelle Bryant on WNOV.
All right, family, welcome back to the show. So once again, I swear to God, tomorrow I'm going to open with the Supreme Court. I'm going to open with the Supreme Court. But yesterday we had some major decisions come out of the Supreme Court, two critical ones, mail-in ballots. Donald Trump has been trying to figure out every way he could to squash, folks trying to cast their ballots and trying to vote. So he is hugely against mail-in ballots. There was a case out of Mississippi that would, talked about whether or not states can accept mail-in ballots that are postmarked by election day, but arrive several days later. This was something that could impact at least 15 states. And the courts basically, look, leave these mail-in ballots alone, man. Let them ride. Presidential power and federal appointments, two things happening at the same time. Trump wanted to be able to fire people from independent federal boards, and Lisa Cook, which was that's the sister he had gone after. The Supreme Court said, nah, you don't get to fire Lisa Cook over at the Federal Reserve, but there is another woman that he was able to fire over political ideological differences. Again, I don't have enough time to break down the details of it, but in reality, the Supreme Court is expanding presidential powers beyond anything that the framers of the Constitution intended. And in one of the dissents, one of the justices, liberal-leaning justices, they say that. Like, y'all just making stuff up now. Nobody gave those powers and authorities in the Constitution. That's not what it says. And for some of y'all that talk about y'all are strict constitutionalists, that's not what this says. And, so there is alarm bells being set off today. Two decisions that we're expecting somewhere around 10 o'clock, maybe even 9 o'clock our time, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, birthright citizenship. Donald Trump being able to decide whether or not, if you are in this country and whether you are here illegally as an immigrant, somebody overstayed a visa, whatever the situation is, but it's not considered legal. If you have a child or give birth to a child while you're in this country, does that child have American birthrights? Are they a citizen of this country? That case is before the Supreme Court right now because Donald Trump has an executive order that wants to end birthright citizenship. Transgender athletes. I saw the news this morning. Transgender athlete who wants to compete, and they're courts coming in and saying that no, boys are anatomically stronger, more powerful than women, and you can't compete against, biological girls. And, there are folks making the case that no, a lot of the stuff that would have contributed to this person having more male characteristics was stopped when they were coming up, through puberty. And so, no, there's not a difference in terms of the strength and the power and the capabilities. So we'll see what that looks like as that is being decided. But the other thing, ending temporary protective status, I talked about that yesterday. There are now governors, there are Republicans coming out and saying, look, y'all need to stop tripping with these Haitian people. These folks are contributing to our economy. They are not causing problems. They are filling important roles. I even heard, the governor saying this morning, like, if you go to any of our nursing homes, that's who's working in all our nursing homes, taking care of our family members. Many of these Haitian workers, they working in our factories. And, so there are folks that are not happy because they don't know what this will look like. And then if you look at the current state of Haiti, so if you say you were able to come here because of divisions and it being unsafe in your country, the conditions are still the same. In fact, they may be worse. So how do you send people back to potentially be killed or die? They just talked about a group of school children got caught in the crossfire with rival gangs, and these kids end up dead. Just trying to be and exist. So that whole thing is real. I will spend time on it tomorrow. But two things real quick. And I got to go back to APAC, because one of the things I was going to bring up is that they know, I talked about, the Jewish community being able to sense that there's a shift in the winds about how support is given and blind support. A lot of people are moving away from just unequivocal blind support. People are asking questions now. So they've begun to create other groups. United Democracy Project, Elect Chicago Women, Affordable Chicago Now. They really are offshoots of APAC. But they know that being connected to APAC is a little bit toxic right now. So they're creating all of these other ancillary groups to still kind of fund and make the moves that they want made. So, we got to talk about that. The thing that I definitely do not have time to talk about this morning was the meeting yesterday that went on regarding Midtown. What I will say is that, and I said this before, it's something else going on here. Because it took a minute for me to appreciate that the Capitol Library is in one district. It's in Charlotte Moore's aldermanic district. It's moving to Midtown, which is Mark Chambers' district. So the question became, what say did the Alderwoman Charlotte Moore have in any of this process? Did she get an opportunity to educate her constituents about what was going on with this proposed move? And by the time Charlotte Moore learns about it, is this already de facto a done deal? I'm hearing stuff about the library, folks who run that, not being privy to what was going on in terms of this location change. And then we're still hearing information that certain people have been granted, anonymity. The public does not have to know who all the players are at the table in parts of this deal in relationship to that data center piece. But the powers that be already knew they were pushing this thing through, regardless of what the community had to say. And there is legislation that was being introduced to talk about being able to put limitations on what type of data centers could go into the city of Milwaukee, and that's been put on hold. But this process, has continued. There were people at the meetings. When I say my phone was on fire yesterday, I had planned to try to catch the 1:30 meeting, but dealing with other stuff, I couldn't. When I tell you it's some people that's hot in this community about how this whole thing has been handled and the lack of respect for the constituents, because you wouldn't treat white folks on the east side like this. You wouldn't treat folks in downtown Milwaukee like this. But we have watched people allow for Black and brown residents, white residents over here in the Midtown area to be handled any kind of way. These public meetings have been nothing but get it off your chest meetings, because the mess is going through anyway. They weren't real. Y'all come, raise hell, ask questions. We doing it whether you want it or not. This was the Strauss deal. We gonna shove it down y'all throat. What y'all gonna do? We'll throw y'all some little affordable housing up, give y'all somewhere for y'all kids to play right by the data center, and shut up and be quiet. All of it was fake. That whole, we gonna slow it down, get a community an opportunity to come in and raise concerns. It was just lip service. Everybody that I've talked to that's close to this is like, the deal was already done. The community was an afterthought. People were saying, somebody just said, many didn't know that the library was in a totally different aldermanic district, let alone who was behind the move. So you want to ask Mark Chambers, the alderman that this district is going into, that all this is going in, what the hell is really going on? Who's really pulling the strings here? I can hear Keon now talking about pulling strings. Who really is behind it? Who's the master puppeteer? But I don't appreciate having people being brought to a room to act like there's somebody really give a damn about what y'all saying. Because the common council members that was a part of this shenanigans, y'all already let these people know. We didn't care about what y'all was talking about. Yet, that's who pay y'all salary. That's who voted for you to be in office in the first place. And now you turn around and throw your middle finger up at them and full disrespect. But I'm going to act like I'm listening. Jermaine just shook his head. I don't know what he shook his head for, but y'all, this that BS right here. And so when we out trying to talk to people about why it's important to vote, you vote for people only for people to then get in office and show they whole behind, like they don't owe you nothing. It's a done deal. People gonna do what they want to. You don't get the courtesy of an explanation until you start raising hell. And even then, it's just placating you. Yeah. Let them get it off their chest. Let them blow off steam. It'll pass over. And we're going to do what we want to anyway. I got to go. It was plenty of people that went. It's been plenty of comments about it yesterday. Let me see this real quick. I heard yesterday from Chambers that they've been working on this for 4 years, and I did not know it until yesterday. This is Radonna Williams that posted this. They presented it to many of us in the area almost a month ago. I hope that you're wrong, my sister. Somebody is benefiting from this financially by pushing this agenda, my opinion. See, this is some recall foolishness. Or don't vote your behind back in next time. Because how you tell somebody been working on this for 4 years and don't nobody know? And then at the last ass minute, you throw together some little meetings. Y'all gonna stop playing in people's faces. But when we get serious about who we have in office electing us and the type of work that we doing, we'll move people around. I gotta go. Bruhs, I appreciate. Oh wait, I'm not cool with y'all. People, I appreciate y'all.
People.
Family, I appreciate y'all. Italy, stay safe. Wanda, I don't know if you're back in the country yet. Stay safe. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Peace.